Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is about whether or not a narcissist can actually care for those around them. Do narcissists ever genuinely care? Do they have the empathy to care on a genuine level? If a person has NPD, the quick answer is no, they don't care for you. This can be somewhat confusing though, as they can treat you better than anyone ever has, especially a narcissistic partner in the idealization stage of the relationship. They can offer those intermittent play nice. They tell you they love you while they're gaslighting, projection, blame shifting, silent treatments they use against you to get you to doubt reality. And due to the cognitive dissonance this causes, their behavior triggers that cognitive dissonance in our mind so that we can't separate the two different realities. We end up confused. We end up doubting our thoughts, our feelings, doubting our behavior, often leading us to blaming ourselves for the narcissist's toxic behavior towards us, blaming ourselves for why they are mistreating us and working harder to try and please them. A narcissist is extremely good at luring people in with false promises of who they say they will be, often leaving people falling in love with the narcissist's potential or your own potential as they mirror you and sell you back exactly who you are or who you would like them to be. So you fall in love with their potential rather than the narcissist's true character and real behavior. The fact that they can treat us right and then treat us wrong is an extremely confusing place to be, because they can prove that they can treat us right, so we don't understand why they treat us so wrong, and more often than not, they find a way to rationalise, justify their behaviour, blame us, shame us for their behaviour, so we are led to believe that we are the ones at fault when we are not. Their abuse, their behaviour, their mistreatment of us is at fault. That is on them. So can a true narcissist care? You cannot give what you do not have. Therefore, no, they don't care, as they are lacking in the empathy to do so. You need to have some level of empathy to be able to care for another person, which is why narcissists tend to lack empathy, because if it serves them, they will seemingly care, that conditional caring side to them. If it doesn't serve them, they will no longer care. People often debate as to a narcissist having empathy, a lack of empathy, no compassion, low compassion, as they can treat us so well while they pretend to love us. They can also treat us so wrong while claiming they love us. If the narcissist was our parent, it's incredibly confusing to hear someone angrily shout at you, "Don't you know I love you?" We learn to accept love for all the wrong reasons, often leading us to narcissistic partners in adulthood, because we are trained to accept that conditional love as love. When it comes to a narcissist, those that have the disorder, they lack in emotional empathy, meaning they cannot put themselves in another person's shoes. They cannot genuinely feel how that person might be feeling. As they have cognitive understanding of empathy, they can think about how someone would feel or perceive their behaviour. Therefore, they will pity play, they will guilt trip to use other people's emotions against the other person. They just don't have the emotional side to connect on a genuine level and truly feel how someone else might be feeling, truly feel the pain they've caused another person. And as they usually shift the blame, they don't believe they're the ones that caused the other person that pain. With a narcissist's ability to think empathetically, they use people's empathy against them. So they can make people feel like it's not the narcissist, that it's you that's asking too much of them. They can guilt trip us and make us question ourselves with words like, I did it for you, or I didn't tell you because I knew you wouldn't understand. If only you'd, then I'd. After all I've done for you, you're so ungrateful. If you loved me, you would. If you paid me more attention. They use these words to gaslight your reality. They use these words most often when they have done something to hurt us, yet they want to twist the story and try to use our emotions against us, make us feel grateful for them doing us a favour, make us feel happy that they didn't burden us, make us feel guilt that we expected them to do something that they promised to do for us. So we end up ignoring how we feel and trying to understand how we've made them feel, even though they are the ones who did something to hurt us in the first place. With a narcissist twisted stories, we feel like we hurt them. Most often, we are the ones trying to make it up to them and justify their behaviour to them because we care about them. When a narcissist says, if only you'd have done this, then I wouldn't, we end up believing, if only I'd have done this, then they wouldn't have done that. So if I no longer do this, they'll no longer do that. We change ourselves time and time again to suit them while they carry on being exactly the person they are hiding from us. Narcissistic parents often do this by telling their children, it's for your own good. And yes, as healthy parents can do things believing it to be in the best interest of their child, when narcissistic parents do something for themselves, for the best interest of themselves, and then gaslight the child to cause that child the self-doubt. Often we then end up grow to believe and accept this behaviour as normal from partners, friends, bosses, that is not normal and it's damaging to who we are as a person. If someone does something that hurts your feelings, they are your feelings. They are never for another to tell you how to feel. Recognise you don't deserve to be hurt by someone just because they don't care for you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't care for yourself. You are important. No response is always the best response. When people come at you with these kinds of toxic words, yet if you feel a need to respond and someone says, I did it for you, something like, if you did it for me, you'd have asked me in the first place. Although you don't have to take part in every argument you're invited to, and with a narcissist, it's very wise just to go no contact and give them no responses. Not always possible. Sometimes it's best to recognise their manipulative ways and walk away. When a narcissist hurts your feelings and you speak up for yourself to get the response of you're insecure, you're too sensitive, you're overreacting, this is very damaging to people's emotional welfare. This is when a narcissist might have done something to hurt your feelings, yet instead of taking responsibility, instead of validating your feelings and having a two-way conversation to see where the miscommunication happened, that those of us who care for others would do. As no one is perfect, we can make errors in judgment and unintentionally hurt someone. Yet we'd recognise we'd hurt them and we'd want to understand and work it through with them, as we have the emotional empathy to care if we'd hurt another person's feelings. A narcissist doesn't. They want to gaslight you into believing that you're the problem and question your own feelings and doubt your own reality. And a narcissist will repeat the same hurtful behaviour time and time again to accuse us of having the problems, to accuse us of going crazy, to accuse us of being forgetful, which is in one aspect, they are kind of correct. We do have a problem, just not what they're making it out to be. Our problem is putting our trust in those who keep showing us they are not trustworthy. Our problem is trying to be there for those who are never there for us. Our problem is not recognising that we are going to develop trust issues around untrustworthy people. Our problem is that we are not recognizing that we are going to feel insecure around people who make us feel insecure. We are going to feel sensitive around insensitive people. We are going to feel crazy around those who are gaslighting and changing our reality on us on a daily basis. With the narcissist, you're too sensitive or you're insecure. They are gaslighting us to feel ashamed and even guilty for having perfectly normal feelings to their toxic and hurtful behaviour towards us. You don't have to respond to any of this. Just recognise those who are unwilling to think about how their behaviour affects you and continues their hurtful ways towards you. They do not care for how you feel. Narcissists will gaslight you with, you're crazy, you're not in charge of me. Which, no, we are not in charge of their behaviour. Their behaviour is on them. However, when they want us to take responsibility for their behaviour, they will blame us. They will turn around and say, if you hadn't, I wouldn't. We are in charge of our own behaviour. We are allowed to speak up for our feelings. We are allowed to walk away from those who make us feel bad for speaking up for our own feelings. People who care, like you, wouldn't want to do something that would potentially hurt the feelings of another. And if you've made a mistake, it would be a case of an apology with changed behaviour, not blame shift, gaslight, repeat hurtful behaviour as a narcissist will do. The mindset of a narcissist consists of, that never happened, and if it did, it wasn't my fault, and if it was, I didn't mean to do it, and if I did, then that was your fault. When they come at us with more gaslighting of, that never happened, or you made me do it, yes, when provoked, even the best of people can react. Most people can only be pushed so far. However, we are still solely responsible for our own reactions, not other people's. We are solely responsible for our actions, not other people's. When we react badly to things, we can admit the mistake and learn from them. Often we blame ourselves a little too much, as a narcissist will downplay or deny how they provoked us and exaggerate our reactions to gaslight us, and again use our emotions and our empathy against ourselves, so we feel bad or guilty for what we've done. We are left feeling ashamed of our behaviour, and we are left doing all we can to make it up to the very person who doesn't care for us and the very person that's taking us down. Yet because they can play nice now and again, because they can offer that intermittent reinforcement of the potential of who they could be, we slowly lose who we are to please them. We walk on eggshells to please them. We lose our minds to try and understand theirs. With a narcissist, they will provoke us to get those reactions from us, to blame everything on us and gaslight us into believing that we are at fault, as they think they're entitled to do as they please and they don't have the emotional empathy to care for how we feel. They try to justify their toxic behaviour by blaming us or those around them. And we question ourselves, as we have the ability to empathise with others, to recognise our behaviour and learn from our errors in judgment. A narcissist simply doesn't have this capability. They are only capable of thinking about themselves and what would work in their favour, what they would gain or lose. A narcissist has double standards. They expect you to care for them and take care of their needs, yet they don't have the empathy to care for you or yours. They can only think about how you or others would look at their behaviour, which is why a narcissist will play the hero or the victim to those around them, yet they will never admit to being the villain. Only a false apology, usually one of those, I'm sorry you feel that way, as they put the emphasis onto you. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry if, as they find an excuse to rationalise their behaviour away. And that's only if they believe they have something to gain by offering that false apology. Narcissists are not sorry they hurt you. They're not sorry they abused you. They're not sorry they conned you. They're not sorry they confused you. They don't have the emotional empathy to care for how they made you feel. They are only sorry they got caught. They only care for if your response is a response that they don't like. So does a narcissist genuinely care? If someone cared about you, would they treat you the way a narcissist treats you? When you care about someone, do you go around treating people how narcissistic people treat you? In order to care about someone, you wouldn't want to hurt that person. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. If you are looking for further understanding and help overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have an online guide available, and the Teachable link is in the description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the description. Thank you to everybody who does comment on the videos, and thank you to all the returning subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel and you do find the information on the channel helpful, the channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder. If it's helpful and interesting to you, then please do subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.